hyper-aggression ng CBF, yung mga mid-round callings dito ng CBF na medyo sumasablay paminsan-minsan, pwede makakuha ng isang malupit na round dito ng veteran and bounce off of that with the momentum. So hopefully ngayon ang mangyari sa veteran kasi Mochi, so far wala pa rin katantos-tantos ang ating mga Rosea teams ever since naisalang natin sila sa ating Masters break. Kaya eto na yun guys, pasensya na kay Aidan at Tetsu, tropa kayo, pero sa ngayon veteran muna kami kasi syempre tropa din yung veteran na yun. Gusto rin naming makitang manalo din sila kahit isang beses man lang, di ba?
Please, no? Kahit mapa, no? Of course, we're definitely vouching na for the growth of our Rosie brothers as well. That's why, for now, we'll be assisting them first, no? Kaya kayo niya sarili niyo, no? Comeback friends. Pero alam mo, Salvatore, something that I want to point out din dito, no? For comeback friends, is yung performance ni Aiden so far. No? Being hailed as players to look out for top 1 nung ating qualifs and until nung recent na laban nila dito, no? Na nasa group stage tayo. Siya palagi ang ating nagiging match MVP.
Considering na he only played 4 matches no? Parang kumpara mo dun sa mga ibang players na nandoon dun sa loob ng players to watch out for, parang mas napalago talaga ni Aiden yung stock niya ever since nagkaroon siya ng stint sa Pacific kasi nga bigla siya nagkaroon ng role change doon, and then the team secret stint na parang palagi na lang siya nasa headshot percentages na leaderboard no? So ngayon nagkaroon nga siya ng pahinga, and say to say no, Mochi, ang mga diamante talaga hindi nakakalawang no? Aiden is definitely a diamond in the rough, one of the most overlooked players ever since Vanguard 2024. Pero ngayon, pre, no? What a roster that he has right now. Kasama nga si Tetsu, ang kanyang kadugo dito sa Team Secret and as well as Vanguard. And same goes here for Aldrin. Wala nang mas malupit na mentor pa kay Aiden kundi si Aldrin nga mismo. No? And those two make up for a deadly duo kung bakit nga wala dito ngayon ng SGJ sa loob nga ng ating Master Summer, because of the activation nga talaga ni Alden as an individual player din. So Aiden definitely bringing out the best in everybody, no? Na kahit nga wala si Aiden doon sa series na yun, feeling ko meron naman talaga siyang naiwan na legacy na okay, kahit wala ako guys, confident ako na kaya niya pa rin kunin to because Tetsu and Aldrin just make up for most dito ng CBF. Yun ang kinakatakutan dito ng veteran for sure no? Because we have Fires and then Aiden. Grabe naman talaga yung pinagtapat natin dalawa dito na Mochi.
Yeah, that is true. Dagdag na rin natin siguro na for the side of veteran. And in times naman na medyo nahihirapan siguro itong si Fires and as well as tong si Rector na trumabaho, parang lagi naman present din tong si EV9, no? For some reason, even from yesterday, I observed that EV9 is mostly the person to look out for that can withstand pressure against yung mga teams na talagang angat na angat talaga in comparison to their level of play as of the current time, no? So, I feel like EV9, malaki din yung ma-offer niya dito for the team in terms of not only support but also trying to keep the mental alive, no? Since dun mostly nagkakaroon ng problema other than the fact na kailangan pa ng kaunting kakapalan ng kanilang playbook, no? Unti-unti nating tatrabahuhin yan, veteran, that is fine. And just a little note, no? Later on, English na naman tayo kasi syempre, Rosie, ang isa sa mga maglalaro dito. So, we will be Englishing, no? With a time choice. Siya lang namin, guys.
Very bad. I no like. Anyways, payat na guys, makikita nyo na magpalit na ang ating mga anyo no? Pero pag-usapan muna natin, Mochi, ang ating paboritong portion ng araw nga na to. Ang ating pang-nostra, pero sa laban na to kasi Mochi, alam na nga natin yung kakalabasan na yan. Pero veteran, open na open kami sa usapang I told you so. Kaya veteran, please, sabihin nyo pa lang sa amin ngayon na mali yung mga pinagpe-predict namin. Kasi pre, CBF is on a roll right now with their impressive win against Acceptance at hindi sila natatakot na ulitin pa ulit yon laban nga sa inyo. Pero veteran, no, make it a 2-1 or even yet, make it a 2-0 para talagang mas solid at mas tatatak siya sa mga Indonesian fans, especially ng a veteran. And the whole landscape will definitely change and baka mas makagarner pa kayo ng maraming respeto because veteran is now a team that will most likely start their run dito sa panalo up against CBF.
Yes. Parang ano lang yan, if else case lang yan, no, Salvatore, na kung hindi nila kaya na i-2-0, ituwan nyo. Kung hindi nyo kayang ituwan, pag-idikit nyo ng maigi yung mga mapang paglalaroan natin dito. No, veteran, yan ang aming wish para sa inyo. And please make our wish come true. Again, just by basing from the overall stature, overall experience, overall init na meron ng ating mga players, syempre, no, comeback friends is definitely the way to go in terms of the predictions that we have here. Kasi may bearing yan sa amin guys, no? Di bala sana kung wala. So, for now, no, we're just gonna be waiting para sa ating mga players to chill, no, wait and as well as prepare para sa ating nalalapit na laban. Pero for now, no, maraming salamat sa pagtambay dito sa ating broadcast and share lang din namin, guys. Alam nyo ba, na pag chinik nyo yung mga pages namin, check nyo yung page ni Salvatore, page ko, ni Sneaky Frog, ni Bipolar, kahit sinong mga talent dito, may mga giveaway post na nakapin dyan. Yes, hindi lang yung 100 e-coins na pamigay natin for the play of the week, meron din individually sa aming mga caster. So kung interesado din kayo dyan, check out nyo na.
Yeah, guys, no, as high as 500 e-coin ang pwede mo mapanalunan pag ikaw ang napili ni Smilegate at ni CROSSFIRE Philippines mismo. No? Kaya guys, basta tayo namigin na ating mechanics, bisitahin yung mga page ng ating mga casters, hindi lang ako. Siyam kami guys, kaya more chances of winning pag binisita mo yung siyam na yan na guys. No? At baka malay mo, ikaw ang mapili sa lahat ng 500 e-coins sa giveaway na yun. No? Pero thank you so much once again, Smilegate and CROSSFIRE Philippines for that giveaway. Dito na nga tayo dumako sa ating matchup of the day for our first series. No, we have a veteran. No? Isa sa mga Rosea teams na hindi man lang dumaan sa pagbabagong Mochi. Sila at sila pa rin ang matitikas. No? Former representatives of the Indonesian team way back in CFS 2018 and onwards. Pero men, grabe, literal na veteran kasi sinasapuso nila yung pangalang veteran kasi lahat ng mga batikan sa Indonesian CROSSFIRE.
For sure. And again, no, sila pa rin ang ating mga kasama dito, no, the favorite people from veteran that we know and love. And I feel like here for Shock, nako, I'm sorry, but I will put a bit of pressure on Shock. I feel like that there would be needing a little more creativity para dito sa kanila, no? Especially when it comes to the set plays and as well as how they will be reacting sa mga binabato dito ng kanilang mga katapata. Pero other than that, the rest of the squad are actually already catching up pagdating sa ating mga mechanics dito, no? At kung pagdating sa ating mga pacing.
I'd like to thank my friend Dadun for the detail. No? Na EV9, despite being a backup player, has been winning countless duels up against Kano and Loy. So that might be like a tide turner para sa parating na matchup nga na to. No? Because considering he will be facing within the same wavelength of Aldrin and as well as Aiden. No? So veteran, ecstatic, napakasaya at talagang merong dating para nga sa laban nga na to. Hindi sila nag-qualify basta makapag-qualify lang. They also have aspiring dreams na maging kampiyon dito sa ating CFSC and hopefully qualify for that EWC. Kaya veteran right now could be the most amazing feat na gagawin nyo because one win up against CBF, natalo nyo ang isang international champion, natalo na ng 3-time CFS champion, no? And as well as someone like Aiden and Tetsu who has sniffed itong ating playoffs experience natin. So veteran with one win against CBF, parang feeling ko solidong-solido na yun as a team achievement.
Yeah, hopefully, no? And that just means na talagang malaki ang nagiging progress nila after our spring and now dito sa ating summer na Masters, no? And I think maganda rin talaga na mag-dwell upon tayo sa punto about EV9 with regards to not only that consistent siya and been able to step up in high pressure situations, but also the fact na kahit yung mga caliber ng mga player to look out for like the likes of Kano and as well as Iloy, ang kanyang mga katapat dito, walang takot niyang pinapatumba ito as long as he has the capacity to do so and the situation calls for it. I feel like that is such a very strong asset para dito sa veteran as well.
Considering na buong taon talaga natin na binibigyan ng platform dito si Fires no? Kasi kung gano'n ka ba siya solid as player, we tend to overlook some of the pillars dito ng veteran. So yun na nga, pumasok na sa usapan dito si EV9 at sana yun nga yung maging emphasis dito no, sa loob ng series na to, that EV9 can definitely play the backup role as efficiently as someone like, let's say, no, we have Yaba, we have someone like Elvin, no? Yun yung iniintay talaga natin, isang malupit na resurgence para dito sa veteran. And speaking of veterans, wala nang mas veteran pa dito sa CBF no? Kasi akalain mo nga naman nakuha nila ang pinaka-batikan na veteran during the off-season, that being Aldrin. Na dahil kay Tetsu, nagkaroon ba naman talaga ng solidong Swiss stage exit si Aldrin. No? Crucial yung naging laban niya up against SGJ at yan ang dala-dala niya ngayon sa series sa Tomochi.
Tsaka idagdag na rin natin siguro yung hirap na pinagdaanan nila nung Swiss natin, no? I do think na sila yung merong pinakamahirap na mga katapat na kailangan pagdaanan,
Tulis.
pero nalagpasan nila yon ng maganda. Ginagawa ni Tetsu. Ang liligalig talaga eh, no? Pero that just shows kung gaano ka G. Ito mga players natin from Comeback Friends na makipag-sapalaran dito against veteran.
Kaya nga, Mochi, no? Akala ko ba sa rulebook bawal yung mga VIP weapon? Bakit merong nakakukribis dyan sa Comeback Friends, eh, no? De, joke lang. Shoutout
Uy!
nga pala sa tropa dyan, eh, no? Pero anyways, Comeback Friends, solid as a rock sa pinakita nga nilang series up against Acceptance. Paano naging solid as a rock? Kasi talagang favorite ni Tetsu yung dalawang letter sa alphabet being O and T. No? Kasi overtime is the key, sabi nga dito ni Tetsu. And ngayon, nabaliktad niya na, Mochi, no? From the past tense niya, from Team Secret na Hydra Pro Team na umaabot palagi ng overtime, natatalo siya doon. Ngayong taon 2026, parang tila nalipasan na yun. Parang naiwan niya na yung legacy na yun at gumagawa na siya na panibagong testamento dito sa loob ng ating CFS Master Summer na pag umabot ng OT, sa amin ang W. Sabi nga dito ni Boss Tetsu. Amazing win up against Acceptance and for their schedule, makakatapat nga nila ang Stallions at VP. Grabe nga naman talaga. Pero sa punong dulo, at least sa punong dulo pa, hindi bungad talaga ng Swiss. No? Ito, at least dulo pa nila makakatapat yung dalawang teams na yan. Na kahit ngayon, kahit makakita ka ng konting stumble sa Team Stallions, you can still respect na they still have the 4 that they have right now.
Yeah, tapos kaunting budbud ng atras and as well as execration sa tabi, no? Bago at pagkatapos sila kalabanan ng STS at VP. Okay, good luck and enjoy. Have fun, no? Para kay Comeback Friends. And dude, binanggit mo na rin kanina, no, na mahilig sila sa mga overtime mga plays natin ngayon. I mean, yes, that was true para sa ating first day, pero ewan ko na lang talaga kung yun ay mangyayari nga dito kontra sa veteran. Pero, again, though, for CBF, I really like their lineup here right now because it's well-balanced, well-rounded, and the aggression is actually on the sweet spot na meron dito, no, para sa kanila. Head-to-head natin, Reknart and Aldrin.
Okay. Parang ito na ata yung isa sa mga malupit na head-to-head nga natin where one of our Rosea brothers will be leading the KD numbers, no? Pero ang pinaka-impressive dito actually is the smokes per round ni Reknart, no? 0.71 is an insane feat of itself kasi ganun talaga ka-effective ang veteran sa mga early stints, no, ng ating mga rounds. Na gusto maga pa lang nakakapag-establish na nga sila ng coverage, kaya feeling ko ganyan talaga kataas yung binibigay ni Reknart sa kanyang SR. Pero Aldrin, men, parang hawak niya pa rin talaga yung AK of all the way back 2017, eh, no? Kasi 0.57 headshot per kill sa ating rejuvenated na HK player, that being Aldrin. So dun talaga lumalabang dito si Aldrin, no? Yung pag-asinta niya sa mga puyo dito ng veteran, especially sa matchup nga na to na makikita natin na both teams will be hyper-aggressive from the start.
Yes, and I feel like yun din yung kinagandahan doon, no? Kung ano yung nakikita namin sa mga numero, it reflects the playstyle already kahit hindi mo nakikita yung laban. Pero let us check ang ating map VETO, no? Saan naman kaya tayo dadalhin ng veteran as well as Comeback Friends ngayon? Kasi kung nakaraan, hindi natin nakita yung sabis, hindi rin natin makikita ngayon. Pero New Mexico kaagad ang paglalaroan natin dito at sinong pumili? Ang Comeback Friends. Ang susunod na mapa naman natin dyan is going to be Port and as well as Eagle Eye for our decider. Ano kayang tumatakbo sa utak ng mga batang ire? No?
Una sa lahat,
ano ba sa palagay mo?
Una sa lahat, hindi CBF ang pumili niyan. Si Tetsu ang pumili niyan, eh. Wala nang mas malupit pa sa ginawa ni Tetsu dito, no? Na feeling ko kakuntsaba niya yung League Ops dyan. Bossing, ikaw na pumili ng mapa namin para sa map 1. Wala kaming pake kung ano man yan. Plus, ito pa talaga, no? Veteran banning out sa base is a move na hindi ko akalain considering na veteran. Meron din naman kayong sub-base. That would have been the most easiest middle ground of a map na pwede nyong itapat dito sa CBF. Pero men, na-overlook ko yung Port at Eagle. Ay, dito talaga ako sa New Mexico na napalampas talaga. At pinili pa mismo ni Tetsu. Hindi ni Aiden, hindi ni Aldrin, hindi ni Wus mismo, ha. Ewan ko talaga ba't New Mexico napili niya dito, no? Pero ito talaga ang pinakamalupit na move. On top of that, veteran picking blacklist start sa mapang GR-sided talaga. So, I'm sensing na lahat talaga ng atake dito magiging maaga para sa side ng veteran. Makuha lang talaga yung early position ng mapa.
Yeah, that is true, no? Kahit dito pa lang, parang tayo pa lang, napakunot na yung noon natin. Paano pa kaya yung mga viewers natin na nandyan? Pero itong ban natin for subbies, medyo maiintindihan ko yan, no? Baka ang root reason nito is talagang respeto. Baka talagang ina-acknowledge lang nila na, you know what, mga galing sa sebutong mga to, alam mo, imbes na makipagsapalan tayo dyan nang hindi tayo sigurado sa kung ano yung magiging outcome, baka mapahiya pa tayo, alisin na natin yan kaagad-agad. Community votes natin, sabi ng ating community, comeback friends yan for sure, no? With the 75% na pumapabor para sa kanila. And for veteran, again, prove us wrong, no? Huwag kayo makinig sa mga sinasabi namin, sinasabi nila, sinasabi ng madla. Just do your thing, no? Batch kung batch kami dyan. Pero I feel like, Salvatore, it's about time for us to call for a bit of a backup, no? Tawagan na natin ang ating mga casters na sasama sa atin dito. Hilahin mo na yan. Ilan mo. Yun!
Oh, sakto! Sakto! Panis ka mo, Chibela, no?
Ganda
Ay,
na
no.
timing mo doon. Welcome, Sneaky Frog, and as well as Bipolar. Well, start tayo kay Sneaky Frog, no? Kamusta naman ang ating gising at ang ating unang laban?
I slept pretty bad, not gonna lie. Kasi
Oh,
yun nga,
no.
there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. Pero yun nga, gising na gising ako para dito sa ating series. Obviously, I am looking forward to, seeing my friends dito sa CBF really, get their win. But at the same time, ina-expect ko rin may laban dito yung veteran, no, considering na I do see the slight improvement galing sa kanila.
Of course. So, all of us are vouching for that one. And how about you, Bipolar? Balita ako, naging busy ka recently,
I mean, it's been a busy start, no, para dito sa CrossFIRE Masters natin. Pero ang iniisip ko lang ngayon is why is a veteran here? I want to see that proving point na, ito yung sagot namin sa tanong na yun. Why are we still competing, right? And I feel like Comeback Friends is one of the best opponents para sa veteran kasi high octane, bakbakan, and with the recent achievements nga, despite them not having a lot of rounds dun sa new compound last time, nakita natin, no, Mochi, na parang, grabe.
Yes.
Parang may palag eh. Pero parang kailangan lang ng onting oras. Ito na nga ba yun?
Ito na nga ba yun, indeed. And actually, that's a good point din, no? To think, why are we here nga ba? Parang nagkaroon ng existential crisis bigla, but it's also a very valid question. Pero ito nga ang ating mga contact points, no? Will veteran replicate Springs Week 1? What do you think, Salvatore?
Well, parang papunta na nga rin dun no, Mochi, no? History will definitely repeat itself as a veteran would still yet that kind of form na makikita nga natin ako kumbinsido nga no na the gap between Indonesia and Philippines will be strengthened para dito no sa veteran. Kaya feeling ko mauulit lang din siya with the same dominating result up against CBF na veteran despite the fiery start meron dito si Fires at saka si EV9, it's still not enough kasi team-based talaga tong CBF na to. So the results will actually vary kung maglalaro nga ng isang magandang sistema ang veteran para sa potential win nga nila dito.
Of course, though, it's very, very important to have every single one of them online and not just individual players themselves. And I really do hope na they can work on that one. Pero let us check out ano naman kaya ang ating susunod na point. Is CBF better off playing the long game o kaya nilang tapusin itong mga bagay na to kaagad-agad? Pinoint out na ito agad kanina ni Salvatore, Sneaky Frog.
Yun nga, this is kind of yung pet peeve ko, no? Every time na magkakast ako or at least, will panel para dito sa kahit anong CPF game natin, their incapability of finishing games very early dito. Could be them maybe getting a bit too excited na, yun nga, nandito na yung ninth na scoreline natin. We're just an inch away from victory and yun nga, the overzealousness is a kind of a double-edged sword, no? Yun nga, yung confidence pwede magbigay sa'yo ng panalo pero pwede rin magbigay sa'yo ng napakalaking talo as well.
Yes, and if they can do the job earlier, wink wink, sana no, we can see that more often here for CBF as well. So let's see our last point, I believe, no. Let us see kung kanino naman kaya ito naka-gear toward. Is it veteran or CBF? Are they indeed a well-rounded team? What are your insights about this, Bipolar?
I feel like they're not a well-rounded team, Mochi. Yes, well-rounded in terms of getting some stats. Pero as a well-rounded team, no, I believe Fervid is a well-rounded team. I believe matches is a well-rounded team somehow.
Mhm.
And feeling ko, ang pinakakatapat dito ng Comeback Friends is this similar sa case dito ng Execration. Kasi they're really just star players made into a team. And palagi natin ito sinasabi, no, a little bit of fun fact lang na palagi nating storyline for Comeback Friends is meron tayong 4 na atake at may isa lang palagi magdedepensa. How far can that go up against a team, up against teams ngayon sa Masters na has full form, kumbaga? Kasi well-roundedness doesn't really mean stat line. Well-roundedness means mid-rounding. Well-roundedness means getting wins immediately. At yun yung din nakikita natin dito. Kaya din palagi natin nasasabi na bakit nag-overtime ang Comeback Friends. Why are there inconsistencies? So how can you say a well-rounded team is inconsistent? But yes, I do agree with the point. Well-rounded in stats. But in terms of gameplay, not yet.
Wow, I am low-key speechless about that one. Kasi tama naman nga talaga, no? Well-rounded siguro based on their average stat, but when it comes to the results, baka hindi siguro.
Yeah.
And yan ang titignan natin, yun nga ba talaga ay mangyayari maya-maya, and maraming salamat sa sabi ng inyong mga insights, pero it's about time for us to hand it over para sa ating mga casters for today's Sneaky Frog as well as Bipolar. Rakrakan na!
You know, it's gonna be one hell of a day kasi I am back on the casting desk together with Sneaky Frog. We've been talking about this for the very longest of time, but here on out, we're gonna be speaking in English just because we wanna pay homage dito sa ating mga Rosea teams. But Sneaky Frog, I do like to give you an immediate question here, right? I mean, Comeback Friends, we know what they're capable of. We have star player potential. We have still a questionable Woos, but he does fry up in some of these games. For Veteran though, again, what's the goal? We'll probably know after this last day of the first week, and then we'll know by the second week of Masters. But I feel like this is the best kind of matchup right now for Veteran, just because it's almost very very similar. But for you, how weighty is this matchup right now?
I think there is 2 different perspectives that you can kind of look at it. It could be just another day for the side of CBF, considering, you know, they kind of eat teams alive, like these team veterans, right? And I feel like, especially even in the last season when Aldrin was in matches, they didn't really have any problems with the Rosea teams going into their season. So, you know, for the side of Veteran, I feel like they should really look at this series as probably, you know, I wouldn't say a full-on learning experience, but this is a series where you can try a lot of stuff, especially up against CBF, considering that, you know, just like what you said earlier, they are one of the more unstable teams in the tournament. Just we did see, you know, the very high highs of CBF and them beating SGJ in the Swiss stage, but then we'd also see their very low lows, of course. But you know, I feel like CBF obviously is still very capable, especially up against a team, and especially with a surprise map pick in map number 1. I definitely did not expect New Mexico, and I have a gut feeling that CBF maybe will try to pull out some alternative weapons, maybe other than the EBRs, maybe other than the HKs and the AKs that we've seen so far. You know, we might see the Chris Vector, we might see some Pepper action as well. Maybe they do want to kind of throw in that curveball to try and catch Veteran off guard.
I mean, last time we saw a Rosea team play up against some unusual weapons was with, I believe, it was with Acceptance and with an MP5 in the hands of Ting, I believe. So that's the most wildest thing right now. But for CBF, you're probably right there, wherein we will probably see the most wildest of guns that are available right now for the tournament. But yeah, Comeback Friends, I guess I still stand on my point there, where they're not a well-rounded team just because of these inconsistencies. But in terms of stat line, well, this is where they will probably have the most fun, just because New Mexico, this is not in their map. We asked Tetsu in what's their map will like right now coming into Masters, but it looks like New Mexico is one of them. Right now, let's look at the comms coming into the game. This is game number 1 between CBF and as well as Veteran.
Aking water, pre.
Tumabog yung bala ko, pre.
Pre, patay sa dito, pre. Pre, patay dito, pre.
Langsung hilang anjing. Maju JK, maju lagi. Maju. Dua. Mid 2. 2 second. Nice.
Oh, that is it. Pepper in the hands of Aldrin already. That's a double kill for him, making a triple as they clear off every angle coming into east side as Aiden now pushing towards CR. EV9, what a player this is, but this time he will not be better than Aiden. All up to Drones, and Drones is down. He is flying by, and he has fallen.
Yeah, Tetsu off the rip already. You can already see the smile on his face, and he knew what he got away with in that round number 1. And already we are seeing the Vepr count go up twice already for the side of CBF. Yaba and Andre going to be rocking the rifles here, but Aiden will be getting 2 on that mid side. Aiden will be getting a 3rd and the 4th as well. Oh my goodness, Aiden, you did that so fast. Me and Polar had to switch roles.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be intense, right? I'll try to be an analyst in some of these cases because it is high octane. The adrenaline right now has been stemming these players already in these 2 rounds. But big push coming from Tetsu. Here comes the AK. Retribution comes in with fires, but Woos gets the betterment of that exchange. And again, Aiden, Prospect, just holding down CR for the entirety of these 3 rounds. Woos with a shot in in EV9's leg.
Yeah, and CBF, yeah, the full comfortability in a map like Mexico, and considering they do have all the best weapons possible in this map in perfect position, Tetsu wanting to peek on the water side already. He's gonna get drones.
Oh, Fires is next on the board with a very big kill now. Coming into Audrin's name. Reknart gets wrecked apart. Yaba calls for the flash and pins 360. One more for Tetsu. And I feel like this is a showcase of gun sneaky. This is how we should be playing CF.
Yeah, I mean, less like, it looks less like a Masters game, more like our average rank match here on New Mexico, where you're really trying to get that promotion and that 6 scoreline. And especially with these kinds of weapons, they're not going to stop anytime soon.
I mean, stopping, I feel like that's not on the plan book right now for your comeback friends. Because look at this push coming in towards blue side or the respawn of Veteran. EV9 answers back with only 1. It could have been better. Adrian switches to the pistol, doesn't even need to reload the Vepr. But it's Drones up against Yaba. Yaba will fall, not fall. He will actually clean up house. Switches to the TRG, and what a double for Yaba.
Yeah, he's done picked up the TRG on the side of the BLCR, but CBF just on an absolute roll in this one. They're just pushing forward again and again and again, and Veteran, it just seems like the lack of map knowledge in this one is actually coming back to bite them. You know, the usual stuff that we see at the start of the round, you know, them getting Waters control, opening up portal very early. Seems like we're not seeing that at all.
Oh no, shock. I think he's very much shocked with this kind of exchange. There's not a lot of like action right now for Veteran. Meanwhile, look at CBF holding down CR with 2 players. Almost 3. This is just too insane. But Veteran, they're trying to calm things down. They want to take the slow approach.
Yeah, anything but slow, but of course with Tetsu, slow is not in his dictionary. Seems like the flank is incoming.
This is just gonna be disgusting. Yeah. Oh, even Tetsu goes for a double. Now they push coming out of alley. Fires now with an HK, not an AK. And I think that's the wrong decision. Aiden with the last kill again. 6-0. Whoever voted 25% for Veteran, I think they are now regretting their choices.
Oh, for sure. They did not expect this kind of New Mexico game to be occurring right in front of their eyes, but it seems like Veteran want to push the CR side.
I mean, they cannot quite easily, because even the pepper from mid-range, it cleans up, and Woos again, just styling on these players.
I am glad that New Mexico is going this way, though, Polar, because
yeah, so
it gives me more ammo to say that this map is not good.
I would like to digress. This is my favorite map, Sneaky. Shock will fall down again and again. He took 5 positions already in 7 rounds, Sneaky, but he always gets picked apart when they get out of the sewers. Reknart from up top will kill off Tetsu, but look at this forward approach, Nix. Disrespected by Woos and EV9, and Yaba shows the Vepr is just too good. Look at the spray down on the wall. Too many bullets to handle for Drones.
What are we
and
doing?
Yaba, he's just jumping around, Sneaky. I think having fun is an understatement. It's enjoyment now that they're just dumping on Veteran. But Fires is still alive. Again with the HK, and that's good for 2 now. 7 kills. Beautiful, probably, but Aldrin is just too fast. First time he goes towards CR, and he still gets the kill.
It was Fires actually trying to gather his senses, gather his surroundings here to try and see if he can get something going in this map, and then Aldrin just shoots you in the back of the head with the USP. CBF for the first time in a while, they do not take Walter's control, and Veteran, they actually live in the first 15 seconds this time.
Yeah, even shocked, surprised that he goes this far, but still missing the shots. Finally gets the headshot onto Woos. Audrey next on the chopping board, and Shock will digress. But Tetsu in a different situation now goes towards EV9, but EV9 has been frying from the very past games. It's a 4v2.
Hold on,
4v2,
Yaba.
3v2.
And Aldrin just as capable when it comes to these kinds of situations. Shockstar already on 9 HP. And if Yaba can find this HK, which he doesn't, that would have been possible control of the round. Seems like Aldrin has a big task ahead.
Big task. And big kill for him as he clears off Reknart. It will go towards window A here probably. But with EV9 having 100 HP almost, and with 28 HP on Audrey, looks unlikely unless, never mind, EV9 aware of these situations and still giving his team round wins. A 1-8 scoreline. Sneaky, we just started the match. What happened?
Yeah, it's become an 8-1, and just like what I said, it is looking like our ranked matches here on New Mexico, where we just pump the pace in this map and get as fast as you can to that 6th point. But Aiden may be a bit too fast in this Walter's position. Drones is going to take him down, but it's Aldrin with a Vepper in alley.
And when will he switch out from this gun, Sneak? I feel like it's never, because Aldrin is going to be killing one. Fires now with the AK. Tetsu with his own, but EV9 comes out towards CR to look towards A site. Tetsu in the forklift will fall, and he gets lifted into the skies. It's all up to Yaba with a Vepper again. But versus 3 players, Sneaky, it's very much unlikely.
He has to find a way to attract them into this alley position, right? He does have the C4 still. In Shock, wrong place, wrong time, buddy. But Drones and EV9 down to low HP. These are very killable health bars here, especially with the USP.
Yeah, they don't need to get magnetized here towards Yaba, because this gun and even the USP in close quarter combat might be the ender here and to claim their 9th round. So they stabilize. They know the C4 is in the hands of Yaba. So they just stay put. In a site, Yaba now in a great position to spot off Drones, and Drones doesn't even know there's no drones in the sky. Oh! Just backstab by Yaba. It's a triple kill. It's a clutch with the knife kill as well.
Oh, and you can see Yaba trying to contain his laughter, because honestly, the player in the forklift should have heard that knife switch, but it seems like the jungle left a bit too quiet. The Stallions 5-stack on the mid side on those nades, but it didn't hit anyone, unfortunately. No one's going to be Fei today, but Drones will be getting Aiden for the first pick off. Some damage as well on Yaba. Tetsu will be getting the headshot on Fires. Quick scope not working for Drones, but they do not notice Shock on the box. Drones with the second one. And Woos only getting one in return, and finally an answer for Veteran, but is it too late?
I mean, I feel like it's not too late, Sneaky, but let's see here on round number 12.
Oh, the Chris Vector.
The Chris comes out for Reknard. I love to see it. Even they are answering back with interesting choices. Might have seen my gameplay throughout my streams, but Fires with an instant headshot wallbang on towards Woos might be the starter, but Aldrin answers back. As Fires rains Hellfire with the AK and the USP, but falls down immediately. 2v2, look at the HP bars of CBF. Are we going to overtime in New Mexico? It seems very, very possible, as Drones finds Aldrin here, and EV9 gets Yaba. Red hot Veteran in this round.
Yeah, Veteran with a bit of return here in this game, especially now that they have the GR side of this map, where most of the advantages lie on the side of New Mexico. Well, let's see. Full nades on towards that mid side. CBF wants to go for a fast CR control once again.
Okay. Looking at the guns here of CBF, it looks like it will be very much possible that they can just enter towards whatever they want. EV9 only good for one. 2v4. And only 20 seconds in the round. There's already 3 players down for Veteran. One more shot for Drones. Peeks again. Aiden pushing and Reknard unaware. Left is Drones, and he will fall. That is it. That is done. New Mexico is never new for new comeback friends, but it's very much a new taste for Veteran.
Yep, and an 18-minute affair in the map of New Mexico. I think we were not colored surprise whatsoever in the casting desk. I mean, in New Mexico, man, it's a map that we unfortunately have to play because it is on burning most of the time on ranked match. So we do know, a thing or two when it comes to this map, but I feel like it's especially bad for the side of Veteran because Tetsu's on the other side of the map, man. And that guy is not afraid to push Ali. He's not afraid to push Waters. He's not afraid to push CRBL on his own. And I feel like that kind of random factor is really disrupting whatever game plan Veteran had for New Mexico. And it wasn't even close, man. It's just a knowledge gap.
I mean, they only wanted to play very, very slow when they were on the BS side, and we're looking at it to a point that, they're just not going to be pushing CR, but what does that do? That just gives a lot more space here for CBF to keep on pushing. Look at Aiden getting triple 4Ks, quads here on the CR side to just push towards the BL spawn. And it's just crazy that Vepr wasn't even taken out in the inventory or in the bags of CBF, especially on Aldrin, man. And I mean, there was some times wherein Veteran was showing their prowess, especially when they're very, very much angry. As you can see, right, in one of those GR rounds for Veteran, Fires holding down the entrance of A here coming from lane. He was just frying. He was just pressing M1, hoping that the shots from the AK was enough to kill at least 3. He only got 2, but still, was it enough, Sneaky? And they weren't able to breathe. They needed life support in New Mexico.
Yeah, if I had any word of advice for the side of Veteran, right, especially in a map like New Mexico, you really have to fight tooth and nail to get Waters control, because I feel like Portal is such an important position in this map because it does give you access to the second floor in the B site, and obviously is going to open up another pathway for maybe the Lurk can come into, and maybe, one of the other players, maybe the Sniper can be sitting there the entire time while you take the B site. So, yeah, it is very important to take Waters. I wouldn't say it is, more important to then taking a CR, especially on the GR side of the map. But I feel like if you cannot get that early control, especially in BL, you're just kind of cooked, because that's just how the map works. If you cannot get the first 50-50 or the first 70-30 fights on your way on that BL side, you might as well give up the round.
Yeah, every odds were not in the favor here for Veteran. Every time they wanted to push, every time they wanted to hold, it just gave a lot of opportunities here for CBF on their GR side. But it looks like life is a highway, especially here for the side of Veteran, because there's still a long, long road and still a long, long route for them to get into the action where they really feel like a threat coming in towards here in Masters Summer. But nonetheless, it looks like we're done here in our first map. Let's look at our panel desk. It's going to be Mochi and as well as Salvatore.
Thank you to our casters, and boy, oh boy, Salvatore, I never thought that I would be enjoying that the way that I enjoyed it right now, because it's like, I don't know how to say this, but it doesn't felt like an FPS game. It felt like more like a race, if that makes sense.
Definitely was. Fastest to 10 laps will be the winner of that race. As CBF was just traveling 200 miles per hour, this every aspect of New Mexico. You already have early access here, as GR players getting into CRBL's faces is definitely something that CBF should be accustomed to, and they're very, very much proud of excelling that kind of feat, especially with all of the conundrum that happened inside of that game. Multiple MG36s from Yaba, the Chris from Reknart, and we also have Vepers for both Yaba and as well as Aldrin. It couldn't get any more Rosea than this one, Mochi. So no filters out here. CBF just played violently. Veteran was trying to hold their damn land, and CBF just overtook it. So it's kind of feels bad for Veteran, to say the least, because they were playing the most meta weapons available, but they were still getting outgunned by the shotgun named Vepr, by not just one player, by 2 players. And the most tip-toppery of it all, Mochi, we had a knife kill to seal the game that definitely pushed the boundaries of this game. That CBF is on top of this series. So yeah, Veteran, we need to lock in inside of port, because that's not looking like a very good team heading into the second set.
And what's also pretty funny to me is that when you rewind back to that clip that Yaba is about to knife someone, you saw that the brain cells are fighting so hard not to do it, but he did it anyway. Like, there's that loading time, thinking through, should I knife this person or not? Proceeds to knife him anyway. But dude, I guess Comeback friends enjoyed this map a lot. I don't think that I can say the same here for Veteran. Despite of all of the efforts that they've been able to a lot in New Mexico, unfortunately, it didn't reflect that much because every single time it's either Eden, it's either Alden, it's either but actually every single one of them, they always get multi-kill after multi-kill, and despite Veteran actually securing the spot first, they always come down into the cemetery once that our members here from Comeback Friends catch up onto them, which is quite sad to see, honestly.
Yeah, every part of Mexico absolutely turned red. And this is a team like Veteran that wants to get as much space as possible, but you can't even see them go into top soon, as well as a CR as deep as that, because there's always a body that's guarding that spot. And Aiden just saw violence in every step of the way, just garnering those amazing headshots despite drones and as well as Fires' heroic prowess. You cannot stop what cannot be stopped, Mochi. Here, Aldrin is using the USP. Everyone just having a blast. And this is a map that is heavily touted as a map that has to be used for an EBR. But apparently so, CBF does not play the EBR in this kind of map because they want to play as much flexibility as possible by trying to garner less space but more action. And take a look at that. Bit of like, should I knife this? He's asking for validation, Mochi, to his IGL. Should I be able to do it? Should I do it? And will he do it? Even if Wilma doesn't, he should. And Yaba did. So apparently so. This is like one of the most interesting games, not even the craziest, but because of the fact that, CBF themselves bought New Mexico to Veteran, and this is the result of that.
Yeah, and here is the result indeed. Just brutal numbers here. Unfortunately for Veteran, well, Drones has been the one who's been able to keep himself intact. But the rest, they're completely struggling, especially Reknart. But here for Comeback Friends, I feel like they're pretty much playing a game of can we get that 100% perfect rating? Yaba says no. With a 96.5 rating.
All he had to do was gain 2 more headshots. And I feel like that rating would bump up to 100. But, Yaba just chose to, probably the knife. Probably the knife costed him his 4 points away from 100 rating, but who knows? Sport might be, that feat, Mochi. I would not want to see Comeback Friends score a 5-100 rating because that just means something really bad for veterans.
Yeah, that is true. But here is our MVP. It's no one else than the man himself, Ada with a 2.0 OKD, and again, the astounding 79% headshot per kill. And decent use of smoke still, regardless of him wreaking havoc all across the New Mexico map. Still staying true, still sticking to the narrative that he's still one of the primary bearers of that MVP title every single map ever since day one.
Well, Aiden is that player, definitely, that you could rely on when it comes to headshots. But this is a map that wants you to play very, very much aggressively using the EBR, but he doesn't really want to read the testament of how optimal Mexico should be played. So it is definitely the CBF way of playing around New Mexico, but hopefully Port will be very nice for Veteran, as that is one of their primary maps. That is a map that they're chosen. So hopefully we must be seeing some eagle eye anytime soon.
I am hoping for the same thing, Salvatore. I hope that Veteran will be able to answer back, but that would be a question, and the answer is up to them. And we will be seeing if that would be indeed the result later on as we come back after a quick short break. Welcome back mga kaibigan, tayo nagbabalik dito sa ating Serie of Still Veteran and as well as CBF, wherein we have witnessed that very dominating, brutal, violent, crazy, insane win here from CBF after that map in New Mexico, wherein they made it certain that they will be ending it quicker than one of our segments earlier on. And the question right now is, will Veteran be able to conquer them at last in the map of Port, or will CBF continue wreak havoc in the lobby?
Well, Mochi, if you look up the word destruction, next to that word will be a picture of CBF and a veteran, because that is the best description that we could definitely say on what happened inside of New Mexico. New Mexico is definitely a map that favors the passive team, but where in the world did you see any single player, Mochi, that played passive? Exactly. What's in your head right now is the definite answer for that, because CBF just played the most aggressive New Mexico we've seen in a while, and this is not even a map that should be played like that. But they made it work, and therefore we have to forget about it quickly like that. Same goes here for Veteran, because they would want to move on heading into inside of Port. So Port will be a very fairly good map for Veteran, as they scored a bunch of rounds here up against Team Stallions during Master Spring. So hopefully that would still be the same case. This is Veteran we're talking about. They have EV9 and as well as drones that played impressive, as well as fires inside of New Mexico. So hopefully that could elevate themselves inside of Port, wherein CBF could be playing something different that could surprise their opponent. So yeah, something that could contradict the playstyle of CBF would heavily benefit something like Veteran.
And if you can remember, last time from Split with Veterans, last match against Virtus Pro, they managed to be a bit close here in the map of Port. And I wonder if they can replicate the same thing or do something else or something better now that they're against Comeback Friends. And knowing that we've already seen the glimpses of growth that they have here, it's just a matter of time before we discover if there will be indeed the result that we've been anticipating and waiting for badly here for Veteran as well. But for now, I guess the battle is ready. Let us call on our casters by Pooler and as well as Sneaky Frog.
Thank you very much, Mochi and Salvatore here on the panel desk. But now it's time for map number 2 here, coming in towards Veteran as well as Comeback Friends. I would like to hear your first thoughts here, Sneaky, because I feel like I've talked too much. But it's going to be Port. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm already worried off the jump, right, for the side of Veteran, because they're going to be the ones starting on the BL side, considering they did pick this map, and considering they didn't already have a great start in this series in the first map of New Mexico. It could only get worse. But for the side of Veteran, if they did do a bit of studying, on this map of Port, especially when it comes to the BL side, if you did a bit of bond reviewing, especially when it's Virtus Pro playing on the BL side of the map, especially what we saw last time from them, and even got a very impressive lead in the first half. The way they take CA constantly, the way they take Z constantly as well, they really do go into the middle and kind of go from there, right? But CBF is not the type of team to really give that middle part of the map for free, right? You are going to be seeing Aiden, or you are going to be seeing Tetsu maybe kind of test the waters. And especially with how the last game went, I would be fully expecting that someone would be pushing the underside of Bridge BL by the 2-minute and 10 mark in this first round. So I feel like Veteran, maybe now is the time to kind of hunker down a bit, similar to most teams in this tournament, where, they just kind of wait it out, let the defense set, and kind of go from there. So hopefully they do show a bit of patience here on the BL side.
Yeah, I think we have the same sentiments here, Sneaky, but I'm really concerned why they pick up Port. Yes, we know it's a staple for the Rosea teams that Port has to be played, but I feel like they have more powers, or they're more successful in maps that are very, very big, just like New Compound, just like Ankara, because it provides a lot of space for them to breathe. Because like in New Mexico, it's all close quarter combats, wherein in 10 seconds or in less than 5 seconds, the enemy is already in your face, just like what Aiden is doing here on the CR side. But for Port, yeah, I would like to agree with you on that even more, on how VP has cleared up the BL side. And I feel like, that's the epitome of how you should be playing the BL side. Clearing operation, basically. Check out Court, check out House B, check out Z, and then go from there. Or at least take CA, at least take CA. Or if not, they can have these long-range angles towards LA and battle up against the snipers. But I feel that's not really a possibility here for Veteran, because just like you said, Comeback Friends will go in your face, even though they're on the GR side, because Port will give you that kind of momentum. So let's see if there is still some powers here coming from Veteran. Are they defeated? Are they disrupted? Because for now, one thing is for sure, here in the casting desk, the adjectives are running out right now. From one map itself, we're losing a lot of words already how to describe this kind of matchup. But nonetheless, we're going into our player comms, going into
Satu lagi.
Biar maju.
Belum.
Dari
Udah
TBS,
maju,
TBS kiri.
udah di TBS. AWP ya?
Mati juga ada.
Satu mid, tope. Awas, tibes dulu. Pan.
VETO.
Meron nga. Di ko tinamaan.
81 ko yan, 81 ko yan, Yaba, 81 ko yan.
Ano ba niya pa ako?
Wala din.
Well,
Oh.
we got what we wanted. They stayed in the spawn for a little bit. But it's a push. BR or Bridge is a troll with Yaba with the
Oh my
MG36.
God.
Scopes up. He can hold this angle for the longest of time, Sneaky. But I feel like they also want to see something.
Oh, he saw
Spots
him.
the head. And here comes the scope in. And a sentry turret now enabled for Yaba and the rest of Comeback
Scope
Friends.
again?
Will they get a kill? Doesn't even need the scope, Sneaky. What a round here for Comeback Friends.
Yeah, the MG36, man, oh so deadly, but at the same time, you know, you kind of expect this from Aiden, especially considering that I think 20 or 30% of his highlights on his For You page is literally him just pushing court the entire time. So, seems like he is all too familiar with this kind of play happening, but it was court last time, now it is going to be mid this time.
Up, Aiden will push, but unsuccessful this time. Pretty insane. The veteran is doing what we wanted from them, but they're now
Nice.
going into the push towards A. Good shots, but Tetsu missing. And actually will throw the nade, connects, wallbangs is there as well. Tetsu with a comfortable double, but it ends there as Reknart shows a very rare TRG on his hands.
Yeah, and maybe a bit too comfortable, man. My man has his leg up and everything on the cam scene. So it seems like CBF are kind of taking a backseat in this game, but that could be a mistake here, Polar, considering that they are pushing into veteran time and time again, and it ended up in a 2 versus 3. But with how the last round went, especially with Yaba and his capabilities with the MG36, and it has 86 bullets, so it doesn't have to reload anytime soon, still could be a threat.
I'm just using like 5 bullets to clear it out. But Yaba will never use that again in round number 2. Looks like Fires will plant the bomb here, and it's all up to Aldrin. And it's been a while since we've seen Aldrin smile, and I'm so happy to see that. But with him killing off Reknart and his presence known in the GR spawn, he will rotate towards House B, pushing now. And he doesn't even want to use the USP here. He wants to go for the instant headshots, possibly. But with drones getting that initial fire in the left of his here, he will push, and that's a round for veteran import.
Yeah, and once again, off of the overextensions here for the side of CBF, it was just Tetsu, Aiden, and Woo's kind of overextending from their positions, kind of leaving Yamba and Aldrin on an island here, but the instant switch up on the weapons, they go back to their serious mode. Aldrin not having an idea that there's someone in spawn looking at him. Reknart will be getting Yamba, and Aiden will be getting Reknart, so it's another positive trade up until there.
Yep. Now it's a negative as Tetsu did fall in the hands of Shaw. I would like to say, while these two teams are setting up, if we're talking about Zach, who will be playing later on, who is underrated a little bit, Drones is an underrated sniper, man.
Oh, for sure.
Coming in from Rosea, always hitting these shots, especially from their previous match. But let's see, who's is also somewhat underrated. Does spot some players here on the BR side of Blacklist. They want to go towards A.
Could be a bit of a mistake, considering that Wu still has a pretty open angle on where the players are in this bridge side. And it could be a very quick rotation incoming here for the side of Aiden, so it has to be an insta-give here on Wu's.
Oh, he didn't get it. He gets the second one, though. Concerning that the smokes just come out. They have still full utilities, but Fires plants
Stand
the
up.
bomb, and he's not standing there. He will crouch his way towards the ladder side and fortify the farthest sides, or farthest sides away from CBF. Aiden, still a force to be reckoned with, still a flash, a smoke, and a nade. And close by now spots EV9, and Fires now activates with a headshot. This might be
Oh,
better,
one
but
shot down.
Woos with the quick scope and enough time for them to get these kills.
Yeah, I think Fires was thinking that Wu's has already made it all the way around towards that ladder side ever since that first death. But it seems like the wrong choice, wrong time for the side of Veteran. A 1v1 that could have easily went in their way, but CBF once again securing these very tight positions. But Wu's once again is taking his sniper on the LB side. Might peek.
We might. EV9. Oh,
Ooh, at
baby!
this point.
Just give out speed. But they're going to be pushing Sneaky with this flash. Aiden, half HP, but does have a friend within him. Tetsu holds down mid. Next one is going to be Fires. And as you can see, good nades as well coming into Yaba. Aiden will get one more. It's a 3v2. Veterans still holding their ground, Sneaky. But a big threat coming into the back lines. It's Tetsu with an AK. What is happening is a question that I don't know how to answer, Sneaky, because EV9 now with another clutch potential. Almost full HP, but up against Aldrin. That will keep on pushing. Is he aware that he's already in the right side within his breathing space? No, it is not. CBF with 3 points.
Yeah, 3-1 here for the side of CBF, and another 1v1 going in the way of Aldrin. And Aldrin even using the reverse flash, actually, or the reverse court flash, instead of going court into B-side, he went into B-side, into court. Didn't really do anything to help Tetsu in his position, but seems like that bit of disruption kind of made it a bit frustrating for the very last veteran player that is still alive. Tetsu, of course, with an opening, and he is going to die.
Yep.
Whoa.
Everyone just dying through the smokes here. Woos! Sees everybody despite the concealment. They're still fighting. This is still problematic for CBF. They're very much low in terms of players and in terms of HP. Aldrin, next one. Here on the A sign, on exit, Aldrin still prevails. It's a 1v2.
Ooh, EV9 wants a challenge, surprisingly, but he actually goes back into Z. Aldrin gonna be denied that position for house speed to be easy, so he's gonna have to go from the curve side. Drones with the plant.
This is one of the most impressive runs for Veteran despite them losing right now. Aldrin shows himself. They're going down with the help of the USB Veteran. Points up, but still not in the lead.
Yeah, they're still trying to kind of see what kind of default or whatever you call default at this point for the side of CBF is. It's just Tetsu pushing long, maybe checking if there's opponents there, but the aggression is now going to come in the form of Yaba. He's now made it on the underside of the enemy bridge, and Woos will be getting drones.
Dude, Woos is winning these sniper battles left, right, and center. With drones down, that's the big firepower of Veteran that is holding back the entirety of CBF. And look at this infiltration, Sneaky. It's like they're just taking Veteran through their necks. That's one down. EV9, though, answers back towards Woos. Steel doors is a very good spot to take because this is one of the areas in this map that you cannot wallbang so easily. Eden pushing again with Tetsu. It's a full prong approach. Fires will die. EV9 cannot get kills. It's a 3-piece and a 2-point lead again for CBF.
Yeah, it just feels like CBF is pushing forward and kind of just reconnecting on the enemy side of the map, right? You kind of see Yaba pushing with Tetsu on the bottom and the top side of the bridge, and at the same time, there's a 3-man push happening on the long A side. So Veteran, once again, they're the ones trying to set up in this map, but CBF has other plans here.
Yep. Overwhelm them as long as they can, but Tetsu stepping a bit too forward. Aldrin will close down a little bit the doors towards House P. Shock with his own. And I like the addition of Shock here now. No, even though he's an IGL that should be, at least trying to get a little bit of a scope of the battle, he's actually going forward just like this. He kills up Woos.
Oh, he's not done.
That's Aldrin with one. Oh, he will hold his ground here, Sneaky. But Retnard, he is very much confident in this type of scenery. It's a 1v3. Eden close by on B. It's Aiden, of course, and he hits the shot. Flash very much late in the entry. Drones gets killed! But Retnard! Somehow Retnard made me speak in Tagalog. That's just insane.
And you could say that was a bit too surprising on the side of Veteran, right? 1 HP on the last player. Aiden almost actually getting a footing on that clutch, but yet it is a competitive first half, surprisingly, on the side of Veteran, but it is more on the mistakes of CBF. Their setups is constantly just pushing long A time and time again, and this just enables Veteran to kind of, able to just hold their side of the map and kind of just wait around for the inevitable. And Tetsu, once again, is not going to go on the long A side. He's going to go CA.
I feel like there's bullets coming from Aiden, man, killing off Tetsu despite them being on the same side. Is just activating him at this point. He's just speaking every time and he's winning the battles. That's a 2-piece for Tetsu. EV9 does find him though, so they can still hold their ground. Look at Reknard, aware that everybody will push here despite them being on the BO side. Reknard with 2!
There it is. Nasty overextension that the veteran was looking for in this one, but Aiden dropping to C4 on court. Reknard could be right up next, and that is going to be him going down. Once again, CBF, quite a forward defense, call it an offense at this point. And Tetsu no longer going in the way of LA, instead going into CA and taking out their best player, and it kind of just rolled from there.
Yeah, it's pretty actually beautiful to see, right? That even though Veteran is winning some of these mid rounds, again, these are star players in CBF. So every time that they get one, there's still 4 more. And just like this with Wooz down, that's a sniper and a half because Aldrin is still here. Aiden pushing now, just like Tetsu, just like his IGL. He claims 2 kills. EV9, despite through the smoke, he still gets the kill. Reknard with a cover, and 1 more. 4 drones, that's 3 players down. Again, it's Aldrin with a passable stopper towards Veteran. With drones falling down, it leaves Reknard and EV9.
Yeah, kind of see him on the death cam as well, right? So they do know he is going to come from the Z side. So they're going to have to be careful of kind of crossing this bridge. Reknard and EV9 with barely any utility, but Alden missing the cross, actually. And he has to fight head-to-head.
HP fights it head-to-head indeed. But I feel like that would have been the wrongest of situations. The first half, actually, pretty good for both sides. It's a 5-4.
Yep, Tetsu putting his leg down, finally taking this one seriously on the CBF side, right? And it feels like this kind of points, you know, despite CBF being in the lead, this is not the expectation that we saw from them, especially going into this map. But CBF, no one's on top A for Veteran.
Oh, they're just giving it away, Sneaky. A retake might be good, but up against these players with high ground, I think it's not good. Shock, though, does find Aiden. That's one piece of the puzzle down, or at least missing. For CBF, they plant the bomb. Here comes the big retake.
Is this some new tech? Maybe Veteran coming up with a 5-band retake on the A side. Just take out Aiden as soon as he enters the LP side. But Tetsu in a very close angle definitely can be a bit disruptive here, especially when it pushes the smoke.
Yep. He just pushes the smoke just like that. Doesn't even call for a flash. Reknard though, and fires from the backside. Fires doesn't need an AK. He needs an M4. Veteran with 5.
Damn, Veteran coming up with their own creative solutions, right? I was a bit questioning that no one was actually playing top A in that position, but instead they took the retake route. Only 1 player coming in from bridge to try and pick off any of the players crossing towards that long A or that top A side, and that's just very impressive from the side of Veteran. Actually, good macro. Ooh.
It feels like they're improving Sneakies too much right now. It's pretty nice to see. But with Veteran down a player, the retake of A becomes weaker. And it's drones of all people.
And it's so hard to lose a player, especially in a map like Port, right? Because you cannot allow any of these holds on the defensive happening, so Fires might have to go for something here.
Yo, and that just might be the answer, Sneaky. Get a trade despite being very, very late. It's a back and forth now between these 2 players on mid. Shock finds Wooz. But Aldrin holds his ground on A. The C4 not yet planted. But Tetsu still wants to fight insurance, and it might be Fires with a 180. Kill with a wall bang with the M14. It becomes possible now for CBF. But EV9 has been frying Sneaky Frog. 12 kills on EV9. Can he make it 14? Shots now flying by. They know he's here, but he knows that he can win this fight. Nades expect it's a top player, but looks towards Bodega. And Tetsu with the kill.
And Tetsu just comfortable after that off angle that he's going to take. He knew that that was the last player left alive, and that was the only factor that you can think about. And honestly, I feel like, just like what I said at the start of the round, like, Paul, it's really hard to play a 5 versus 4 here, especially when you're on the GR side, because you are forced as one of the GR players to try and check one of these angles aggressively. And speaking of aggressive, Tetsu will be getting Reknard, but he will get traded in return.
I love how Shock is still fighting here. Sneaks in mid. He knows the walls are just too thin. Who's almost killing 1 player there if he just pulled the trigger, but with the smoke concealing the fight. And look at this mid push coming in from EV9, a backline push, but drones with him falling down, it's not good. EV9 doesn't get the kill. Wooz gets out from the sticky situation, and Shock, shocked up and electrified by Aiden's headshot. It all ends up from the Veteran Fires. Only 5 kills in 12 rounds. A 1v2 This time he has it for the clutch. Goes towards curve. That's one down. It's up
Good
against
round.
Aiden though. But with 10 HP, Sneaky. Oh, it's very, very sneaky. 25 seconds. You can still play with time. Despite being in low HP, a disadvantage for Veteran. But can they find it? No, they cannot. Aiden just too good. Comeback friends are coming back out of this very, very tight lead.
Yeah, Aiden very well aware that the last player was already on low HP, but at the same time, that was actually some really good fights coming in from Veteran and Fires. Yeah, they got tired of that mid fight, so we're just going to deal with you early in this one. EV9 stuck in the Z side. Reknart will be getting taken down. Aiden with the taps out of his mind, but he finally goes down. Woos is going to get EV9 in return as well. Shotgun drones, the last two left alive. And the snipers, what can they do from this position?
I think they can't do anything else.
Yaba has
Yaba,
it
you finds it. Oh, one more! He chops him, and he dismembers Shock here on B.
My God, Yaba the Butcher. Pick apart. 4 fair prices here, especially coming in from him. 8-5. And CBF looking like they just want to finish this one. Fires getting Aiden in return. Tetsu will be getting the spray down with a smile on his face. Veteran are fighting for their lives.
Can they win the war though, Sneaky? It's 9 up incoming for CBF. Reknart and Fires left to defend this side of the map. That's one down. Aldrin, a core piece, but a core piece for Veteran is down as well. And that's the last 2 players. 9 points for comeback friends. It took a little bit of seriousness coming in towards their BL side.
Yeah, and it seems like the farming is definitely on for the side of CBF. Aiden on 19 and 11. Tetsu 15 and 10 in this game. And EV9 gonna have a face full of CBF players, but they finally fully swap it. Tetsu and Woo's gonna get 2 in return though.
Oh, even Shock finds Woos again. It's all up to Yaba. I feel like the disrespect coming in from these melee kills might just be too much for Veteran, but he's unaware that Drones is in the back flank. The C4 not in his hands, and Shock missing the shots. Crucial time to be missing, but Drones gets the kill, whips out the insta kill, and that is it. Still not a 10 points for CBF.
I feel like Shock has definitely gotten the vibe of what this game is like. He is laughing out of his mind because he knew he's getting away with stuff that's supposed to be not getting away with on the side of Veteran. But here comes another long A push from them.
Oh, Reknard cannot stay alive there, Sneaky. Aldrin is just too fast. It's a marathon now towards east side. And the finish line is looking pretty good. For CBF, long-range fights, hand in hand. CBF controls the entirety of A. Yaba finds Shock, and it's all up to Drones. We told everyone that he is underrated, but he doesn't have a sniper. He has an M14, and all of the shots misses. But the miss will not be made by comeback friends. 10 rounds in, they win the whole series.
Yep, and unfortunately, Veteran, the gap is still definitely there, but for comeback and friends, the continued improvement is definitely prevalent, but it kind of just seemed like they were having a whole lot of fun in this game, in the first map and the second map as well. Granted, it got a bit serious, right, when the score was 5-4 going into the second half, but I feel like by the time that we were 8-5, yeah, CBF were just kind of rolling forward in this one, and at this point, they were just pushing LA time and time again, and there were some creative solutions, though, from the side of Veteran. I did like that one round, just like what I said, where they went 5-man retake on the A side with only the bridge player actually watching the cross, and they did get Aiden in LB, and they got the full flank in LA control. It kind of feels like what Virtus Pro does with Ankara B site, of instead of actually fully committing to the site itself, they just take hotel, they take spawn control, they take TB control early, and they go from there. So there is some macro improvements from the side of Veteran, but in terms of keeping it close with CBF, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. The mechanics are just too good, man.
Yeah, in those like 1v1 fights and 1v3 fights, we always still see a big win probability for the side of CBF, despite them having the numbers advantage here for Veteran. But again, macro has improved, Sneaky. We're seeing playstyles that we haven't seen before for the Rosea teams here at Masters, and I want more of that. Because again, if you give space towards Veteran and as well as the Rosea teams here coming into for Taring Babi, they can breathe and check out what's happening in the map. And that GR side is very, very impressive. But their BL side, Sneaky, despite them not really garnering a lot of advantage, still a 1-point lead towards Comeback Friends before the second half, we saw what we wanted, they did, and they were very much well aware that everyone's pushing. Let's just try and get these fights in. Yes, they will push LA. Yes, they will push out of House Speed, but they were ready, and it took a lot coming from Comeback Friends. It almost seemed like there was almost a point in time where Veteran could have gotten the lead, and that's pretty nice to see.
Yeah, it's progress, right, from last year's tournament last season's tournament, and God, it feels that long ago, right? But yeah, last time's tournament, it kind of feels like Veteran didn't really have any chances going into these games, whether it is the first place or the 8th place team here in Masters. But it seems like those incremental improvements are finally being seen in this one, and especially they did it up against a team like CBF, who we kind of tout to be ceiling top 4 floor, maybe 8th place in this tournament. So they're a team that is still very well respected, and I like that Veteran. They put up a fight, that's for sure, and I want to see more of that Port game for sure, especially on that GR side. They were actually very impressive.
And now I know why Port is being prioritized by Veteran and as well as starting Bobby, but it's going to be pretty much insane. But for us, it's going to be done for now. It's time for our panel desk. It's Salvatore and as well as Mochi on the panel desk.
Massive thanks to our casters here and my oh my Salvatore. This specific map has been like a really good of an exhibit here where we can pinpoint where Veteran is right now when it comes to the path of growth, and it seems like it is pretty great. I am quite surprised that it became quite close for our first half. Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, more takeaways from the Veteran side of trying to be as passive as they can be. You can feel like they want as much action late into the round despite being safe. So I feel like there is more than just being able to garner some space. I feel like they have this kind of mentality that they can play 2v1s or 1v1s, and they definitely succeeded on that to the point that they had like a 5-4 half. So that is very successful of them despite being BL. It's not them capitalizing on trying to take a site. It's them trying to counteract any rotation from CBF. And you gotta love that adjustment. It forces CBF to take some more and more fights over to the mid-side CAs and then Zs, despite having sites very open. That is the point of Port. You want as much less action as possible inside of A's and B's, so that whenever the BLs try to do something about it, it feels like it's just a breeze. It's just easy like that. So yeah, so not really much that they can do about it. Not really much that they can do about it. So I feel like that is going to be the reoccurring theme for the first and second half. But clearly that was not the case on the second, because CBF just absolutely locked in. First 5 rounds definitely given by CBF, but right now the second half just means more business here for CBF.
Yeah, and it appears that they already had a bit too much fun from what we have here from New Mexico, and there's no way that they could replicate it once again here in the Port, where Veteran would also like to pride themselves upon other than sub-base. So again, here for CBF, I think it is quite interesting to me that there will be that point in time wherein they would be requiring all their entire focus here as well, just in order for them to stay away in terms of the scoreline here from Veteran. And I can't wait to also hear from them later on. I'm very meaning to ask, what is the point where you called to your teammates that you guys already have to take this seriously, because it's no longer being quite one-sided at all. But also though, for Veteran, again, I really like some certain heroics that comes from their individual players. It's just a matter of a bit more creativity, because as our casters already been able to mention, they are already working on the macro. There's visible growth. There is already some substance when it comes to our rounds every time or every single time, and it's pretty nice that you can see these types of moments.
Hopefully, veteran in the long run does invest on a coach that really sees the game deeper. Because I can feel some macro level up here from drones and as well as fires, but it's on to the point of just trying to take duels very effectively. You see, these kinds of decisions can be very much stopped if there's only like a third voice inside of this team. So veteran, if there is a time for you to get a coach, this is the best time possible. If it will not be local, you know, someone out there in the Philippines would really mean so much to coach a team like veteran, especially someone that is very passionate enough that he thinks that veteran can go far with a bit of guidance. So yeah, these are kinds of plays that are very much capable of for a team destined for something great. But you know, you can only go so far with plays like these ones, Pochi. You know, you can fight, you can take these headshots, but CBF just takes things very differently. CBF plays in a system that rewards so much from the aggression that they're generating. So you have some amping up on the early ones, and then mid to the post plant, you have CBF just garnering so much space that gives them so much kills. Definitely kind of like this one. So more on that. CBF kind of feels like veteran, but if veteran does have like a system that they could follow, so CBF very much well played on the second half. More memorable than the first one because, you know, veteran just seems to forgot to play how to play Crossfire on the second half.
Yeah. Well, again, it seems like there's just a bit of a push and pull with all of the shenanigans that happened here and transpired in the map of Port. But other than that, again, we've observed some additional strengths and additional pointers for improvement here for veteran. But the point is, again, growth is present. And that is what matters here for our Rosie brothers for this point on. For CBF, I feel like they can already mind their own business. You know, they're adults. They're already aware of that. But other than that, we can also point out the 21 kills and as well as 14 headshots that comes from Aiden, being followed by Tetsu as well, with pretty much above 90% rating for both of these players.
Right, so a total of 9 rounds garnered here by veteran throughout the series. Those 9 rounds were pretty impressive, Bochi, considering that we got so many flashes from Fires, EV9, and then Shock, at least on the port side here. But Shock will definitely forget something that happened inside of Mexico. But here on port, he was definitely the outlier here for Comeback Friends to overlook at. You can definitely feel that he has some sort of winning duels up against Aiden and then Woos. So Shock was definitely one of the players that stood out, at least on the second half. But EV9, my goodness, man, his steady rise towards, you know, getting those KDs intact is definitely nice. This, despite, you know, the forgettable series yesterday against Team Stallions, EV9 still managed to, you know, maintain his composure and then made it so that veteran could have like this sort of a situation where we will not be humiliated inside of port. This is one of the few impressive matches of veteran that did not feel like it's dominating. You know, veteran did put up a fight on the first half. They just really need Mochi. They just really need to close out the second half. I feel like that is going to be one of the factors that could lead veteran to a victory. But so far, the first halves are just as memorable as how they started. So yeah, Aiden will be our match MVP. I would not be surprised, Mochi, if he's going to be our overall MVP despite those numbers.
Yes, and not to mention that he's got 6-7 for our headshot per kill, which is pretty crazy as per usual. Always 60% above so far here for Aiden. There's a try to demolish our players here for whoever is going to be their opponents. But now, again, a quick run through and overview about what we just happened here for Veteran versus CBF. We have 310 and as well as 610. And again, the port map, really interesting specimen here, and I hope that the veteran can replicate such of a performance or even amplify it further. But now, match MVP still Aiden from New Mexico up to here, where there is a bit of discomfort that happened here in port. It doesn't matter at all. Still 100% rating.
Yeah, definitely. That's the most important things that you can look at other than the KD and as well as the kills per round, because the rating says it all. So how consistent were you and how effective you were when it comes to the multi-kills is something that the rating should be proud about. So yeah, Aiden maintaining that threshold, Mochi, for the past 2 maps. really brings out the best in someone like Aiden because he maintained his confidence and as well as his composure to make those 1v1s or even the 1v3s look so damn easy. 1.84 KD to finish it off for our match MVP, who I believe will be having a session with an interview later on. So many insights will be said here by our boy here, Aiden. So yeah, congratulations for CVF and as well as to Aiden for garnering this huge W up against Veteran. But much like any other job out there, it's not over, Mochi. CBF will be crawling their way into numerous matches like Matches, Virtus Pro, and Stallions, to name a few. So yeah, this is just one of the stopovers before they do head on to the serious business, that being the playoffs. This is going to be very interesting for CBF considering that we rated them as one of the mid-tier teams. But if this is going to be like the benchmark of trying to look at if a team is definitely mid-tier, then this is a very good example of what a team with high expectations could look like.
You know what? I am pretty curious. What would be the luck of CBF if Aiden doesn't go? I feel like that will be the primary question that we will be knowing about as time goes by. But for now, we should be enjoying this very moment wherein we can see that they are in their full capacity, working and performing here in our map so far. And again, just from these blatant highlights, you can already say that there is quite of a rat element here for Aiden, while at the same time being able to just maul over whoever is gonna be going down his path. And well deserving of the match MP title. Pero sa ngayon, tama na tong pagpapanggap natin, no, Salvatore? Wag na tayo mag-Ingles kasi maya-maya i-interview na natin ang isa galing dito, no, from Comeback Friends.
Yun na nga, pre, no? Maya't maya makakasama na nga natin si Mr. IGL, no? Hindi sa ating MVP. Pero pili ko din naman kasi PR trade din si Tetsu. Sa dami ng beses na nakakasama ko na nga tong player nga no, especially as well dito rin sa ating desk from last year. For sure naman ready na nga si Tetsu. Kaya Mochi, pakilala mo na siya.
Ayan naman, ilapag na natin dito sa ating desk. Pahugot nga si Tetsu. Pahugot si Tetsu. Ayan, yo!
Hello po.
Welcome, Tetsu! Congrats, no? Grabe, parang nag-enjoy kayo ng husto sa laban nyo against Veteran. And pwede mo nang batuhin ng mga tanong yan si Tetsu, Salvatore.
Maraming salamat, no, Binibining Mochi. Tets, congrats. Malapit ang labanan,
thank you
especially
po.
sa New Mexico. No, take us through. Totoo nga ba talaga na si Das yung pumili ng New Mexico? At paano nyo naisip ng New Mexico yung magiging set 1 nyo?
Di ko alam doon, nasa biyahe kasi ako eh. Sabi ko kayo na mag-veto. Tapos pag kita ko nung veto, sabi ko kay Dustin, Mexico, akin yan, veto ko yan ha. Gumagano si Dustin. Sa kanya daw yun.
Talagang sinapuso nyo pag i-New Mexico no? Kalain nyo nga naman 10-3 kinalabasan na yun. But either way, no, well played talaga, Tets. Ikaw naman, Mochi.
Well played, no? Actually, parang pinag-uusapan namin dito kanina. Parang si Tetsu pumili nun. Hindi pala, no? Si Das pala. Pero ayun, question ko for you, Tetsu, no? Dikit yung laban natin sa first half natin for Port. Ano kayong nangyari doon?
Wala, sugod lang ang sugod kasi tapos napapatay kami.
Kulit.
Ayun, ang kukulit eh.
So
honest
bali,
nun.
hindi mo talaga nakokontrol eh. Hindi niya nakokontrol kung baga, no, Tets.
Hindi kami nag-uusap kanina, bahala na sila kung buhay nila.
Ayun ang aking IGL. Yan ang aking dad, no?
What an
Bahala
IGL.
na nga sila, no? What an idol, no? Boss Tetsu, no? Maraming salamat sa oras mo, no? Congratulations on that win. Baka may gusto kang batiin dyan. I-shoutout, mensahe sa mga taga-supporters dyan ng Comeback Friends. At ano pa ang makikita namin sa mga susunod na araw para sa CBM?
Shoutout sa mga sumusuporta sa Comeback Friends dyan kahit bago lang kaming team dito. Tsaka shoutout sa girlfriend ko na nanonood. Tapos expect nyo sa amin na mas magiging madisiplina kami, tsaka mas ayusin namin yung mga rounds namin in the future.
Alright.
May
pagganon. Hindi tuloy namin alam, Tetsu, kung maniniwala kami sa sinabi nyo or talagang yun yung direction din dito for CBM. Pero we will believe, no, na yun talaga yung direction nyo dito. Kasi syempre, no, palakas tayo, palakas din, which is great for your team, especially from qualifiers up to now. Pero, ayun, maraming salamat, Tetsu. Congrats and good
Thank
luck
you po.
sa iyong mga susunod na mga laban.
Thank you.
Yun,
Bye,
solid na solid naman ang ating interview dito with Tetsu, no? Very straightforward, if I may say.
Hindi niya na tinatago, no, Mochi. No? Kasi maugulat na ako kung sinabi ni Tetsu, kasi yun yung pinaraktis namin para sa laban talaga ng veteran. Akalain mo nga
Ewan ko
hindi
na
mo
lang
rin
talaga.
talaga. Pero buti na lang talaga. Malapit sa puso yung pagkakasagot dito ni Tetsu. Talagang admirable naman yung pagiging honest niya. Na nilaro niya yun na parang 8v8.
Yes. Kaya naman sa susunod natin, titignan natin kung magmimistula nga ba muling 8v8 ito. Dahil Taning Mabi versus Fervid ang ating labanan ngayon. Medyo magkakagulo na naman ata ang ating mga utak, but all we can say and expect is ang entertainment. For sure, sa susunod nating serye. And for now, papahinga muna kami. Abangan ninyo muli ang serye ng Taning Mabi versus Fervid after a few minutes.